Can gallstones kill you? Well, in theory, yes, it can happen. Very, 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 very rarely. I mean, if you look at the NIH for data, you'll see that it's like super rare. The big question is, what kind of circumstance or negligence would it take? And how can you prevent that? My name is Chan. After 30 years of helping people out of gallstones the natural way, non-surgical way, I've seen a lot of people. I mean, thousands of people, including people coming in with pain and all yellow from jaundice and with a long history of even negligence. And yet I've never seen anyone go down the complicated road of, ruptures or all kinds of scary things that doctors often use to scare you into rushing for surgery. Nevertheless, I wouldn't ignore gallstones. I mean, even if you find that you have no symptoms and you just discover it by mistake, they're still there. And they still represent a load on the liver, not just on the gallbladder, which means if you really want to be healthy long term, whether you're in pain or not, negligence is not an option. Taking charge of your nutrition, taking charge of doing something about the gallstones. In my case, I would suggest flushing them out, supervised. And making sure you actually make the necessary changes in your lifestyle to prevent the new stones from forming. That's called taking responsibility. I mean, if you already have a more complicated situation, then obviously you need that personal touch from a professional, one-on-one, and not through YouTube. But if you are only with gallstones, and this is whether it's painful or not, and you do not want to be in the weird statistics, very rare but unnecessary statistics of people who died from this, then you want to make sure you do change your diet. Let's talk about it. So the first thing you want to do, especially if you're in pain, is, look into vegan diet for a while. Even if it's not a long-term solution, the vegan diet has a natural tendency to reduce the pain, especially if you do not heat oils and if you use original oils like almonds or nuts or tahini that's well diluted, or avocados. If you actually take it in its original form, the beauty of it is that the work of digesting these oils makes it appear to the gallbladder, reach that gallbladder phase in drops, in very gradual increments. And that means there's not a lot of effort, there's not a lot of challenge, and the likelihood of these stones turning into stuck in the duct stones or inflamed gallbladder are much lower. Okay? And by actually bringing in more valuable, high-quality oils from vegetable sources, you're also reducing the amount of inflammation if they are, again, quality, not seed-based sources. Okay? You want to not fry foods because that raises the inflammatory potential in your body. And on top of that, you want to make sure you drink enough. And it's not about the number of cups. It's about whether or not your urine during the day is translucent, which means if you look at it through in a cup, for instance, in a transparent cup, with the light on the other side, you can see if there's floaters in there that show that the urine's actually full of gunk instead of being transparently translucent. Not necessarily transparent if you have vitamins in your system, but at least translucent to the point that it proves that you have been drinking enough. Okay, it's very important for keeping the bile diluted, and that reduces the building of the gallstones and removes a lot of the edge of the potential inflammations and complications involved. Okay, the likelihood of you actually getting worse if you're eating a vegan diet with a nice amount of oils, but not more than that, and spread across the day and not heated and with enough liquids, the likelihood of this getting worse is very, very low. As a matter of fact, there's a high likelihood that you will be improving even without doing anything else. less and less symptoms, less and less pain, less and less drama. Okay, so if you don't want to be in those statistics, it doesn't require such huge efforts. You just have to take charge of your habits that have to do with the gallbladder and the liver. And if you want to go deeper into that, then, well, you might want to join my free community online. I actually teach a hell of a lot more than just nutrition. Okay, I teach a lot of things that have to do with gallstones, and I can help you unload and flush those stones safely and supervised. So look for the link in the description, and I will see you there.